everybody, it's Amy from Winterwood Studio, and today, today I thought we would swatch these 3 sets of Unison Soft Pastels that I got and try them out, and I could give you some of my first impressions on them and see how beautiful they are. Alright, come on in, let's get swatching. I'm just using some Fabriano Artistico hot press white watercolor paper. So let's get started and see what they look like. And there you go, there they are. Those are all my Unison colors. I'm glad I got the green. There weren't really any overlaps in the green. There were a couple, I think, between the landscape and the 30 color set, if I remember correctly. I feel like these two and these two might look like they overlap. I don't know about those two, but these two look pretty close. I feel like this brown and maybe the 2 yellows are the 4 overlaps. I know there were 4 overlaps. Okay, so I've transferred my sketch onto some white PastelMat, and I'm going to do my underpainting today with some pan pastels. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to put my finished work as an overlay up here in the video so you can see the finished work while I'm working. And so I'm going to, there's a lot of blue and gold, and I like to do the opposite color for the underpainting. Actually, the opposite of blue is like an orangey color, but I'm going to use like a golden color, and the opposite of the yellow down here is like a purpley color. So I am going to do my underpainting now with some pan pastels. And I'm going to start with this golden yellow. And I will probably speed up sections of this and put music to some of it, and some of it I will do some voiceovers and tell you my thoughts. This will be the first time using my Unison pastel sets. I've got all 3 of them over here. So one thing I do want to say is if you plan to blend anything, don't use pan pastels underneath your regular pastels. So looking back, I kind of wish I had done a watercolor underpainting because I did end up wanting to blend that blue sky a little bit more than I did. And it wasn't so bad with the sky, but especially with the water. I wanted to blend the water, and the yellow was coming through and muddying up the color of the water. I actually like how the yellow pan pastel peeked through the unblended sky. So I enjoyed how that turned out, but not so much with the water. So keep that in mind if you're doing a pan pastel underpainting. Okay, so let's get started here. All right, I've got a piece of copy paper for testing colors on. And I've got my paper towel for wiping my fingers. And I'm gonna get started. So I've played around a little bit with the Sennelier ones, and I've swatched my Rembrandts from that last art haul. And I've tried, and this is the first, I swatched these as you saw. And so far, these are definitely a little harder than the Sennelier. But not as hard as the Rembrandt. And let's see, not as cheap as the Mungio pastels that we did our first, tutorial with. Not as hard, yeah. The Mungios are, so of the pastels that I've tried in hardness, it goes, the Prismacolor Premier are the hardest, and the Prismacolor New Pastels are the hardest, and then the Mungios, and then the Rembrandts, and then the Unison, and then the Sennelier, which is pretty much what I expected them to be. These feel pretty smooth and soft on my fingers. They feel almost like cornstarch or a fine flour. I'm going for a bit of an impressionistic type feel here, but also a little bit more detailed than that. Right. Now the one thing about these Unison is there's not a very deep dark purple. Which is usually what I use for the shadow color. Which is partially why I put this darker pan pastel down here as the underlayer, the underpainting. You can see how much nicer pastels blend on PastelMat using a paper towel as compared to the UArt. The UArt kind of, it would just sort of come off. Whereas with this, you can really see how that just blends nicely. Okay, so I'm feeling like I'm missing some of the colors I would have liked to have here. So I'm kind of using, the set's a little lacking in the golds. I thought I'd have plenty of golds, but I really don't. I kind of picked this picture because I thought it would be plenty of golds. I may also decide to come back in with some pastel pencils. We'll see at the end. I'm pretty sure that if I would like to add some more colors to this Unison set. And I also would like to add some different browns in. This blue, for whatever reason, feels a little scratchy compared to the rest. I think it must have some sort of coating on it or something. Okay, so I grabbed a handful of my Stabilo pencils. These were actually the ones I had out for working with the Cougar. So I didn't go through and pick any colors. This is just what I grabbed. I'm going to maybe add in a little bit more detail, although I do like how this is going. I think. So the Stabilos don't layer over these very well. So that's something to keep in mind. They layer over the new pastels much easier than they layer over these. which is kind of what I thought would happen, but I wanted to try it. So now's a good time for me to step back and look at this like it's upright and see if I need to make any adjustments. Alright, I want the contrast here to be a little bit darker. I think that's done. Look at it one more time. Okay, so there is our Unison. We had the Unison 30 set, the Unison landscape set, and I didn't use my greens at all. So this was made with these and a couple shades of pan pastel on PastelMat. Okay, so let's do our tape peel. So here's my finished Unison pastel piece using just these two sets and a piece of PastelMat and a couple of colors of pan pastel. I hope you found my thoughts and my review of this useful. If so, please hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, happy creating!